and good morning from Walt Disney World. I am recording on a new camera at 60 frames a second in 4K. So I've made it to Animal Kingdom, which is where I'm starting today's video, because I am here today to talk about D23. Today I'm going to Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Magic Kingdom just to talk about all that was announced at D23 for Walt Disney World, and then also trying on a new camera. So I just walked from the back of the parking lot from the dinosaur section, and I'm heading into Animal Kingdom now. So I'm still using the same lens and microphone that I would normally use. Right now I am utilizing stabilization on this camera, which does crop the video slightly, which I'm able to take off, but if it's not warped, it would save me time in sort of the post-production video stabilization process that I've been doing previously. So if I take the video stabilization off, it does make the video a little bit shaky, like it sort of is right now. I'm heading over to Rainforest Cafe. So I'm going to play around with this because I do like being able to use this 11mm wide angle lens. I wanted to come in here really quickly because I am curious if I can head into the park back through the gift shop back here right now this early in the morning. I guess it's not really early, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning right now, but I wanted to see if I could use this secondary entrance and exit into Animal Kingdom, which is back here through the back of the gift shop. And I'm using the stabilization of the camera right now, I think. And I'm pretty sure that I can. There are touch points right over here behind Rainforest Cafe. How cool. Sometimes it can get a little bit backed up over there. Cool. So I am inside Animal Kingdom right now via the Rainforest Cafe entrance. Look at this. There's nobody over here by Rainforest Cafe, and everyone's entering over here, where of course they would, right? All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a quick camera comparison over here at my bridge. So I'm going to walk across this bridge with the stabilization on the camera because I want to see just how well the stabilization works and if it warps the video. And now I'm going to do it again with the stabilization off to see how this looks comparatively, because if I can avoid paying for a subscription to stabilize my video in post-production, then I would love to do that. I can still stabilize that video, but at 4K 60 frames a second, that would take a very long time. It would diminish the quality a little bit, and then it would still crop the video. This is something that I can't say that I've seen. There are actually people down here. This is blocked off, right? Something that I might do, this used to be the old boat launch for the Discovery Island riverboats. I might go around it and actually go down that pathway. I don't think that I've done that. It's currently a meet and greet right now for Moana, but I've never gone down that pathway, so I want to. And then I'll come back and talk about what I'm here to talk about, which is DinoLand USA and the Tropical Americas. I'm not going to meet Moana today, but I want to go down a pathway that I've never gone down before in recent memory, I think. Well, I thought I was, but the line pretty much stops right here. But this is the pathway that would connect over to that boat dock for the Discovery riverboats that are no longer around. So I'm heading into DinoLand USA now, which is going to be Pueblo Esperanza. This is going to be the new Tropical America's Land themed to Encanto and Indiana Jones. So this is going to be opening up in phases by 2027, allegedly. So presumably there will still be time to experience dinosaurs, so they're probably going to be prioritizing starting over on the Encanto section. So there's going to be an archway entrance into Pueblo Esperanza. Over here, Restaurantosaurus is going to be like a hacienda restaurant, and the boneyard is not going to be lasting, unfortunately, which is a bummer, because I like playgrounds, and I'll come back to that point a little bit later on in the video. Triceratops bin is gone, but there is going to be a like a fountain, I think, somewhere over here, and then I think in this general area where the boneyard is going to be a carousel where a woodcarver carves horses out of their favorite Disney characters from the Disney stories. But the biggest news is that they are building Casita from Encanto, and it's going to be going right back there. This entire area is going to be themed to Encanto, and they're building a new ride. So what I'm curious about is, where is this massive dinosaur going to go? This is huge. It used to be yellow, now it's green. That was irrelevant, but it's a thing that I remembered about it. So I don't know the timeline of when all of this is going to be closing. Presumably pretty soon, if they're going to be doing it in phases and starting with this section and then doing the dinosaur section. So this area is obviously very sad and has been for quite a while. It's not what it was. It has been years since Primeval Whirl was back here in DinoLand. This fence has been here for a long time. DinoLand was always one of my personal least favorite lands, and then I understood just the concept a little bit more, so I appreciated it more. But now that we're actually getting a dark ride attraction back here, right here, this is where the Casita is going to be built. So Finding Nemo, the musical, the show building for that is pretty much like right there. So I'm presuming that they'll have enough room to build this show building and then exterior facade for Casita. This should be plenty of room, probably, right? There are parking spaces here because this is a parking lot, because this is pretty much a roadside attraction that was built by Chester and Hester Dinorama to capitalize on the popularity and the tourism from the Dino Institute, which is the scientific research center over here, where there are paleontologists, interns that also work at Restaurantosaurus. There's like an entire story with this land that I actually really do appreciate a lot, but it is definitely time for it to be something new and different and refreshed. A lot of these structures look like they're staying, definitely like the restaurant, the gift shop over here. The dinosaur attraction is just going to be Indiana Jones with a new story, pretty much. So I don't know if this is where the carousel is going, because it looks like in the concept art it's going to be a little bit more back over there. So I don't know. Oh boy! See, this is the street that Dinorama is on, which I always just thought that it was just cheap, which is part of the storyline that is intentional, that it sort of mocks the Dino Institute. This is over by Restaurantosaurus, which, again, from the concept art, looks like it's pretty much staying, but also getting definitely like a different look. So this is just going to be rethemed to a hacienda, but presumably the structural aspects of the buildings are going to remain the same, just with a different facade. Something that I've never noticed, and this is cool because this plays into like the paleontologist internship, I guess, storyline. You can see like these plungers here, and then this cable that connects up here to the roof, and there are chairs on the roof with a bunch of beer cans and a cooler. And you can see even more of these plungers with a bow next to them. So I guess interns that are working at the restaurant while also working at the Dino Institute will sit up here on the roof, have some beers, and use this bow and arrow to shoot at the target over here on the back of this water tower, I guess. Also part of the storyline is that the radio is broadcast from Restaurantosaurus here too. Just so many different like nods and references to this intern story that I never really noticed before. But definitely one of the most anticipated announcements that has been confirmed is that Indiana Jones is coming to DinoLand, which is going to be back over here. By the way, the casita, the ride over there, I think it's just going to be a dark ride. It's going to be the day that Antonio gets his gift, which I guess that sort of ties in and corresponds the relevance to Animal Kingdom, because that is mostly going to be about animals. So this is one of the announcements that I was a little bit bummed by, but I'm also incredibly excited for, is that this is going to be an Indiana Jones attraction and not a duplicate of the one in California. This is going to be a new story. Probably the same ride track and vehicles. I joked about the other dinosaur and where they were going to put it, but legitimately I am very curious where they're going to be putting this. This is an exact replica cast of Sue, the most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton ever found, which is 90% complete, and it's a fossil find of enormous importance to the study of dinosaurs. So where are they going to be putting this, I wonder? From the concept art, this looks like it's mostly going to be the same, except with like a huge Central American temple as like the facade of the building, but it's probably going to be the same ride track. I'd be surprised if it was not, but the storyline is going to be different. That's sort of the big exciting factor of what they're doing here with Indiana Jones, which I am excited about that. This is over by the extended queue for Dinosaur, which I'm sure is going to be very popular in the months to come, but I did look it up, and the attraction is going to follow the man with the hat during a time when he has recently discovered a perfectly preserved Maya temple, and that can only mean one thing: it's time to explore it. He's heard rumors about a mythical creature deep within the temple, and he's got to see it for himself. So he brings us along on the adventure. But will there be snakes? We'll just have to wait and see. So there will be a relevance with Animal Kingdom over here as well, which is good that they're tying in the Encanto, Madrigal family, casitas, and Indiana Jones with the theme of Animal Kingdom. So that's good. That's going to make people happy. Hopefully they do a good job though, because if they don't, they will just never hear the end of it. They won't hear the end of it regardless, probably. So there's still time to enjoy DinoLand USA, definitely Dinosaur in the months to come. So from what I can tell, it looks like the fountain is going to be around this area, but it'll be interesting to see once they actually really start closing and putting up walls around the entire DinoLand USA. It'll be weird when this is just gone and it's just going to be Dinosaur back at the back. So I do personally think that the Boneyard does have a place in the tropical Americas, specifically because of excavation and archaeology, because that is what Indiana Jones is. He's an archaeologist, even though this is more like paleontology, but this is also sort of a fun fact. So the first dinosaur fossil was discovered here in 1947, and the Dino Institute was formed in 1949. So it was because of the fossils that were discovered here that the Dino Institute was founded. I just think that that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think that this is going to be here for the tropical Americas for Pueblo Esperanza. I gotta get used to calling it that. Alright, I'm heading out of DinoLand USA now. There should be plenty of trips in between now and this closing. There's one more stop that I want to make on the way out of the park before I head over to Hollywood Studios, and that's going to be over here at the Tree of Life. And that is that Zootopia Better Zoogether is going to be opening up in winter of 2025. The replacement for It's Tough to Be a Bug. And I don't think that any other information was released about that at all, other than the date. They did do sort of like a lot of just very fast-paced dates and openings to look forward to over the next year or so at Disney, and this was one of them that it's opening up just next year, at the end of next year. I would presume that they would not change anything about the Tree of Life at all, just the ride itself, because the theming of the Tree of Life is pretty much undeniably perfect. What they might do is that in the queue for It's Tough to Be a Bug, they do have like posters that are just sort of like jokes, and they might just switch those out and make them Zootopia themed, maybe. I hope the queue stays the same, though. This queue is pretty significant to me, at least just in my nostalgia, which again, I'll talk about it later, but nostalgia is a pretty key component to me and attractions that I like at Disney World. All right, I'm now heading over to Hollywood Studios to talk about like the major attraction updates over there. There were announcements for Disneyland and California Adventure and the international parks, but I'm just talking about Walt Disney World. I also want to get some lunch, so I'm probably going to be doing that over at Studios. I'm also not going to Epcot today because Epcot didn't really get any major attraction announcements. They did mention Test Track 3.0, and just that's going to be opening, I think, next year. And then also they did talk about a Spaceship Earth lounge. So they are getting a Spaceship Earth lounge, allegedly behind Spaceship Earth, which that'll be interesting to see if that happens, but that's pretty much it for Epcot. I'm curious about a few things at Animal Kingdom and whether or not they're going to keep them as like representations of attractions past, which is specifically right around the corner up here, which is that the ticketing booths have a dragon, there's an elephant, and then way down there is a Triceratops. So references to now 2 out of 3 defunct references to attractions or lands that are not actually at Animal Kingdom. But also dragons have sort of always been in the Animal Kingdom logo, and that's never changed. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the life is lived tonight. Near the village, needs no village, the life is lived tonight. My way. There's also a dinosaur and a unicorn section in the parking lot, so will that change? So now I'm leaving Animal Kingdom and heading over to Hollywood Studios for a pretty significant announcement that was made over there that's been anticipated for a long time. All right, and I made it over to Hollywood Studios. I think I'm going to have lunch first because I am pretty hungry and I don't know where I'm going. I want to go where I haven't been in a while, which would be like Docking Bay 7 or Woody's Lunchbox. I don't know. Either of those sound fine. All right, I made it to Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I do think that I'm going to Woody's Lunchbox to get something that I haven't gotten in a while or ever. There's no secret Rainforest Cafe entrance for me here, so I'm just heading back to Woody's Lunchbox just to go ahead and have lunch now, and then do what I came to Hollywood Studios to do, which is walk around and do conjecture. There was one massive announcement for Disney's Hollywood Studios, and that is a Monsters Inc. Monstropolis land, but the question is, where is it going? This has induced a very speculative and argumentative hysteria amongst Disney fans, with a lot of discourse and conversation about this, specifically where this ride is going to be going, this new land. And I think that it's been narrowed down to be in 3 places potentially. And I'll talk about that once I have my lunch. Today's a Halloween party night at Magic Kingdom, so all the other parks except Magic Kingdom probably will be pretty busy today. I left my umbrella in the car, which sort of stinks. One place that I know that it's not going, Monstropolis, is right back here, because there's literally just the berm for Star Wars Land, so there's no room for a Monstropolis back here, although this would be where it would make the most sense. So I said that it was here for my order. Oh, okay. And my order's ready right now, so that was pretty good timing. So this is Woody's Lunchbox right over here. And if I could sit in like the new, what I presume is going to be the new seating area for it, that would be fun, but it's not open yet. All right, I'm here to pick up my food from Woody's Lunchbox. I got a few things, so I tried to put a place where I could sit down, but the best I could do is over here, so I could probably sit over there. But I ended up getting the smoked turkey sandwich, which is thick sliced smoked turkey breast, lettuce, and tomato with Dijon spread, served chilled on multigrain. And then I got the tomato basil soup over here, and then the potato barrels, which are just tater tots. And then I also did bring this from home. Look at this big footprint I'm standing in. I showed off the parking spaces in DinoLand, so I thought I'd show this off too. So I just had my lunch over there at Woody's Lunchbox. I could go back this way, but I think I would head through Galaxy's Edge. So I'm heading out of Toy Story Land into Galaxy's Edge to go over to Smuggler's Run, because there was something announced over there. There's some stormtroopers over here. I thought about coming here to Ronto's Roasters to get lunch, because I haven't in a while, but I'm glad that I went with Woody's Lunchbox. This is Docking Bay 7, and I came over to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run because they are finally debuting a new adventure for this ride centered around the Mandalorian and Grogu, I think debuting next year, presumably, but this has just had the Hondo Ohnaka adventure, a mission, I guess, for Smuggler's Run, so that they finally have something new to do for this is going to be a very welcome change for Smuggler's Run, because I think that this was designed to have multiple adventures. But now I'm turning around to continue heading this way over to Muppets. Uh-oh. For a lot of people, D23 sort of incited the biggest conversation around Muppets, because this Monsters Inc. land is going to go allegedly in one of three places, either the Muppets Courtyard, the Animation Courtyard, or over by Rock and Roller Coaster. They've released a couple different concept arts that look different. They look like they're in different locations as far as the real estate of where the ride is going to go, so it's been very confusing and a little bit scary for a lot of people. Speaking of confusing and scary, apparently they are no longer doing the single rider for Rise of the Resistance, so I'm glad that I got to do that. Here I am heading out onto Grand Avenue, which was formerly the Streets of America. It is a little bit windy right now, but one of the concept arts sort of looks like it's in Muppets Courtyard, because you can see what looks to be Grand Avenue sort of in the background with the Monsters Inc. building. So the ride itself is going to be the Door Vault Coaster, which people have been wanting this for 20 years, and they are finally allegedly doing it, but it looks like it would be like back here, sort of, with the courtyard being Monstropolis. So reasonably, for a lot of people, the idea of replacing Muppets is just outright repulsive and insulting. Unfortunately, it does not help that a lot of this area right now is completely underutilized. I finally made it back up to the second level of Pizza Rizzo, so I do not think that Monstropolis is going to be going here in Muppet Courtyard. I don't think that the Muppets are going to be going away. I think they're too beloved, and I think that Disney knows that. And also, this is just a really small footprint of an area. There is this restaurant back here, but on the other side of the restaurant and the show building, which is right here for Muppet Vision 3D, is just a parking lot. It's the parking lot for Disney's Hollywood Studios cast members. So there's not a lot of area here to really have a Monsters Inc. ride. And then on the other side of Pizza Rizzo is the show building for Star Tours. So unless they want to completely demolish Star Tours, I don't know why they would do that. I don't know. I don't think that this area is any jeopardy at the moment. And then way over there you can see some more like production buildings, so that's why I don't think that they would put Monsters Inc. in like the Pixar area, just because it's right next to Galaxy's Edge with that berm there. But again, there's really nothing happening in Muppets right now. It's kind of a dead area back here with this closed gift shop here, the Muppets gift shop itself being closed, in a pretty integral part of what Muppets Courtyard is, just this massive building in the middle of Muppets Courtyard. This is Mama Melrose's back here, which other than this, there's just nothing happening in this land. So if they brought like Muppets doing shows in the windows like they did at Magic Kingdom with the Great Moments in History, or if they brought the Muppet Mobile Lab back just in this area, I don't know, something to bring this like kinetic element back to the Muppets Courtyard, because they need it, and that's why people think that this area is condemned, because they're not really doing anything with it, they're not utilizing it. But Pizza Rizzo is a pretty good addition to Muppet Courtyard, definitely. This used to be, what was it before? It was Pizza Planet. Oh my god, they already went to the effort to convert this land into Grand Avenue and make it Muppets Courtyard with what used to be the Streets of America. So after going through that effort, would they demolish this land when they have other lands that are, if not more so, underutilized than this one is? So we'll see what happens. They'll have to announce the timeline of what's closing and when at some point, hopefully soon. This was the final project that Jim Henson worked on too, so I know that a lot of people, it's very nostalgic for that factor. I guess that technically that is Grand Avenue, and then this is Grand Park, where Muppets is, but it's the Muppets Courtyard. And then I can see how on the other side of Muppets Courtyard is just Star Tours right here. And then some people, I think, maybe think that it's also going to be Indiana Jones that goes away, and then maybe the backlot, because this is not a studio anymore, and just that theming is irrelevant. But then also, again, parking lot and cast member backstage areas back over here. So now I'm going over to where I hope it's going to go, which is Animation Courtyard. I've complained about the irrelevance of this land for a long time, and I need it to go away and be replaced by something awesome. Animation Courtyard, the most awkward land in the entirety of the Walt Disney World Resort. So I do have an asterisk that if this is where Monsters Inc. is going to go, I need this archway to stay. So this is Animation Courtyard, which is called that because this used to be the animation building back here, which now it is Launch Bay. It is the Star Wars Launch Bay. For some reason, 5 years after Galaxy's Edge has opened up, this is the most irrelevant part of any Disney park. Some of the concept art that was released does sort of look like it is in Animation Courtyard, just based on the palm trees specifically, and just the I don't know, even just the orientation of where the Monsters Inc. ride show building is for the door coaster just looks like it would be back where Launch Bay is, even though there are offices back here, because this used to be a working animation studio with a parking garage. They're not utilized anymore. They are as like office spaces, I'm pretty sure, for cast members. But that's something that I think could change. This is just such vital real estate for the actual theme park. And I couldn't do this last time, so I'm going back here really quickly. So that is the entrance to Launch Bay down there. There's a bunch of just general Star Wars stuff over here and like posters. But right here, this is the animation building. And you can see the parking garage way down there. So Toy Story Land is right on the other side of the parking garage, sort of way down there. And this is what used to be the animation building that is now Launch Bay. But this building is still here, and it's still being used, to my knowledge, from just rumors that I've heard and just general speculation and stuff. But I feel like this building could go if it's not actually being utilized. And then, again, Star Wars Launch Bay is just sort of irrelevant now, unfortunately. Really, this area is just like a small portion of what the animation building was, which, again, you can sort of see up there. And I have a lot of good memories here back when this was actually the animation building, mostly just the Animation Academy, just drawing Disney characters. And I always liked this little courtyard. I don't want to walk around the entirety of Launch Bay, but this is what used to be the cantina before the cantina. You can take a picture with a blue milk here. You can't obviously move it, but you can take a picture with it. And then there's props and costumes and concept art and different photo opportunities, but this is mostly just a character meet and greet, I think, at this point. All right, so I'm gonna go over to, I guess, over to Sunset now, but I'm heading out of Launch Bay. And not to say that this is like a bad area, it's just if there was a land that needed to go to make way for a new and better area, I think this is it. It was really cool to see the animation building though. Like right here, I forgot that you could actually see it. And Disney Junior has its demographic definitely, but I think it's time for it to go. Conversely though, this hasn't even opened up yet, and started discussions about retheming the entire land, so hopefully they could still have this show. So it is about to rain, so I want to make it over to Sunset really quickly and then head back to the car to go to Magic Kingdom. I wanted to try to be as thorough as possible just with walking around the parks today talking about D23, so I could have just been like, oh yeah, back by Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster is another area that they're considering, but I actually wanted to go back there and look at it myself. I think that another beneficial factor of having Monsters Inc. over an animation courtyard is that it would be pretty much right there. That is the animation building, so there would be like a connectivity either over here to Sunset or all the way back around to Toy Story Land. That would be really cool. So I think that this is being considered for an area for Monsters Inc. to go is because there's already a building here with a roller coaster in it, so that would be pretty easy to retheme if they wanted to. The ride is as popular as ever, but the relevance of Aerosmith is fading a little bit, I think. And then Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy over here, like it's a cool show. It's all the way in the back of the park. I don't know, this area could also be used as well, but I think I want it to be Animation Courtyard. It's starting to rain. Oh, you can see the animation building right back there too. And also just being right next to Sunset Boulevard, it would just be a little bit weird to have a Monsters Inc. land like right here outside of the Tower of Terror. So the biggest announcements were undoubtedly at Magic Kingdom, and that is where I'm going now. Something that I do want to be preserved though is like the studio Hollywood aspect of Hollywood studios, and they're definitely straying away from that, but I don't know, I think that that's an integral part of this park. I need the rain just to hold up a little bit longer. There's like a raindrop every like 3 to 5 seconds. Alrighty, goodbye Hollywood Studios. Off to Magic Kingdom, and I'll bring my umbrella this time. And now for the final park at D23 announcements, probably the most significant of all, Magic Kingdom. It's actually pretty cool to see. You can see it for just like a second, but there's like a retention pond that's like shaped like a Mickey. I'm not looking at the screen, so I don't know if it's on the screen anymore. It's probably not, but I've made it to the parking lot of Magic Kingdom, and I'm hoping that it's not too busy. I'm getting here before the people going to the Not So Scary Party can technically arrive, so it might be in that like perfect timing arrival. Well, I was about to walk, but there's the tram right there, so might as well take the tram right. And a short tram ride later, I made it to the TTC. I'm heading to the monorail. Today's visit to Magic Kingdom is pretty much all about Frontierland. This is where I could take the connecting monorail over to Epcot, but again, there's nothing announced over at Epcot other than the lounge. Magic Kingdom's also getting a lounge too, and a new nighttime parade. So that's everybody waiting to be admitted for the Not So Scary event, which happens in about an hour. So they're here a little bit early before they're allowed to be let in at 4 o'clock. Unless you're an annual pass holder, in which case you can get into Magic Kingdom whenever you want. But these are people presumably with exclusively Not So Scary Party tickets. I like how they're doing this with day entrance this way and event entrance over there, just with the barricades. It makes it a little bit easier to understand. So we could take the train over to Frontierland, but I think that I'm going to just walk. Also because I wanted to mention the new nighttime parade that's coming to Magic Kingdom called Disney Starlight. Disney parades go in between this gate here next to the fire station and then the gate over by Tiana's Bayou Adventure over in Frontierland, and that's presumably what this route is going to take to. They didn't really say much about it other than I think that it's debuting next year probably. and then it's going to be sort of like paint the night, I think. So I still want to experiment with this camera a little bit. So right now I'm walking with stabilization, and then this is stabilization turned off on the camera. So I'm curious to see if it's a little bit more shaky or uneasy. So I'm down at the end of Main Street, and I'm heading over towards Adventureland and Frontierland. Fantasyland's back here. There was also something today that debuted back at Fantasyland that has nothing to do with D23, which is that Peter Pan's Flight reopened a little bit early, and it now has a new scene. There was a scene that was replaced in it. I don't think that I'm going to be going over there to ride it today, but it's pretty cool that it reopened today. This is the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, which somehow is still here, which I'm glad that it is. Probably because I don't know what else they would fit in this small space. I take it back. This is weird that it's still here. I would much prefer like a more open Adventureland instead of like another spinner. Magic Kingdom has 3 spinners. I decided to go around the carpets because I want to head over to Pirates because they announced a Pirates of the Caribbean tavern that's going to be going over here. That was announced previously, and I still don't know where it's going to be, but they're going to be building a tavern. I think that the popular presumption is that it's going to be back over here by what used to be the Pirates League, because this has not reopened in the past several years. This used to be where you could, as a kid, you could get made up to be either like a pirate or a mermaid. This is at the exit of the gift shop, which I cannot go this way. From what I gathered when we rode this last week, there's no way to even just like go in here. It's just walls. See, the entire gift shop has been completely walled off. So I'm just presuming that it's back there and that this will eventually be the gift shop again. Interestingly, nothing was announced for Pecos Bill. So as far as we know, this is still sticking around, which I guess is a good thing. I definitely do like Pecos Bill, but I feel like a retheme of this is probably inevitable. This is another seating area in the back that I don't get to go to that often, and this restaurant just has so many different folklore, fictional characters, memorabilia. Okay, I came in here to get a cup of water really quickly, so I'm gonna go back and do that, and then head over to Tom Sawyer Island. That area was back there, which I didn't really show, but it sort of just connects over to Tortuga Treasures now. I already got my water out of Pecos Bill. I'm gonna go over here to the boat launch for Tom Sawyer Island. But the majority of this video, this is the moment that I've been waiting for, talking about Frontierland and what is happening to Frontierland over the next several years. So essentially, it has been confirmed that the entirety of Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island are going to be replaced by cars. Literally the entirety of the Rivers of America, the entire footprint that this makes up in Frontierland is going to be gone. The riverboat, Tom Sawyer Island, and the Rivers of America. We just read this the other day, so I'm not going to be writing it right now to give like the full scope of what's going to be replaced. But I'm going to go back over to the raft, take it over to Tom Sawyer Island, and then walk around over there. But just look at this indescribable, gorgeous view of what makes Magic Kingdom a theme park. I think that this is it. I'm trying to chase the riverboat right now so I can take the next raft over to Tom Sawyer Island. Losing the element of water, too, in a theme park, I think is just a devastation. I do think that Cars is going to be cool, and I've really given this some thought. I've been talking about irrelevance all day, and I know that Tom Sawyer Island is beyond relevant, but there's just something about this that is just so significantly important to me, to Magic Kingdom, that is going to be so difficult to try to get my head out of it. I'm absolutely blinded by nostalgia. Petrified by nostalgia, honestly. The idea of just this changing is just terrifying to me. But how could I not be disappointed that something new is coming to Magic Kingdom that replaces this of all things? So from the concept art that was released, all of the Rivers of America, from the riverboat launch all the way back to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, is going to be a Cars land with 2 Cars attractions. So I've definitely gone through the multiple stages of grief about this, and it's yet to happen, but allegedly these are not blue sky concepts. These are going to happen. There's also another announcement that is pertinent to the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island closing, which is another land that, in order to be built, this does need to happen. This Cars land does need to happen. My initial reaction to the news was just complete anger and sadness. I just felt completely let down by Disney. I thought this environment, this atmosphere was just so unequivocally untouchable, and I was proved wrong. There's this welcome sign that you encounter as soon as you make it onto the island. It says, "Welcome. If you like dark caves, mystery mines, bottomless pits, shaky bridges, and big rocks, you've come to the best place I know. If you don't like creepy old scary places, don't worry. Huck Finn and myself was plenty scared too. Huck Finn was more scared than me. Tom was not. Huck." So next to that, there's the riverboat going by, is a Tom Sawyer Island Explorer map that says Mark Twain was born Samuel Clemens in 1835 in Florida, Missouri. He grew up not too far away in the small town of Hannibal. From there, he would raft over to islands in the Mississippi and watch as majestic steamboats paddled by. As a young man, he became a riverboat pilot, listening for the leaders to sing out Mark Twain, which indicated the river measured 2 fathoms deep, making it safe to proceed. As a writer, his two most famous creations, Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, sprang from his boyish memories of life on the Mississippi. All the names on the island can be found in the literary classic Huckleberry Finn. So that's pretty cool. I actually did not know that. So I'm gonna head over to, I think I'm just gonna go to one of the caves. It took me forever to read that sign, by the way, with nobody going by, but I'm gonna go to this cave first. This is Old Scratch's Mystery Mine behind the mill. I've explored many old mines, but this one is the best ever. Strange things happen in here, so keep a sharp eye out and don't stop for nothing. Tom. So let's see if this camera does okay in the low light. It's pretty quiet in here right now. I can't wait to come back here again with Brennan. This cave is weird. It's a little bit like sideways. It's a little bit slanted in here. It's difficult to show it on camera, but the ground is just slanted a little bit. I don't know if I've ever looked in here before. See these little features that I have come here so much. I've come to this island so many times, and there are always details that I just never really take the time to notice. Okay, the other cave is the spooky cave. This is sort of the shorter one, a little bit. And then there's the Fort Langhorne cave too. All right, I'm exiting the cave now, and then heading over to the other cave over on the other side of the island, which is pretty much just on the other side of the mill over here. I think what really makes Disney Disney is just when every single angle is themed and photogenic. And that's what this island does. It is, you are so immersed in this environment of the wilderness. I don't know, just Disney doesn't do stuff like this anymore. It's all about capacity-inducing rides and thrill attractions, e-tickets, and this sort of stuff is forgotten, and that's understandable, I get, but it's sad. All right, so I'm gonna go over to this cave over here. It's weird that what I'm walking around now is just going to be a future Cars attraction. Off-roading cars will just be racing around where I'm currently walking around. It's weird. So this cave doesn't have a name right now. I'm pretty sure that it used to, but it does not. So I'm heading inside this cave, and this is the spooky cave. I feel like I would have been afraid of the Tom Sawyer Island caves, but not in the way that I was afraid of rides, because I was terrified of rides when I was younger, but it was more the fear of the mystery of these caves. But then at the same time, I loved exploring. I loved the wilderness. Just being a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout, just this made me feel cool. There are guys that have been running around playing hide and seek in this cave the entire time that I've been in here, just recording a little bit, which is something that Brennan and I have done on Tom Sawyer Island. We've played hide and seek on Tom Sawyer Island, and that is something that I really want to get back and do, definitely. Now I do remember this scaring me, this bottomless pit, and in my memory, you actually could not see the bottom of this. You can now, but my memory is that you could not see the bottom of it, and I was terrified of that. I was like, why would they put that in a theme park where kids could just fall forever down a bottomless pit? This cave also has multiple different ways to go, which that's a little bit daunting and scary, but they'll lead to the exit at some point. All right, I finally made it to the exit of the cave. I should be over here by the barrel bridge. Yes, right here. And then this view of the Haunted Mansion, which will never be the same. So I'm gonna go this way over to Fort Langhorne. I think I don't wanna walk around the entire island today. I will definitely save that for hopefully many future trips. Also, my microphone's about to die, so I might just switch over to the camera mic. So if the audio sounds weird, then that's why. This is the suspension bridge over to Fort Langhorne, which is back over there. There's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And then again, the show building for Haunted Mansion is like right here. But I thought that this could have been a compromise. If they just severed the bridge here, I could have been okay with losing Fort Langhorne or maybe losing this island. Just letting me have some sort of Tom Sawyer Island. Just I don't know. I think that could have worked in my opinion. I don't think so realistically, but I would have been okay with that. I think if it was all or nothing. So I watched the riverboat go by over here. I will never get tired of this view. Just seeing Big Thunder Mountain going by from either Tom Sawyer Island or from the riverboat, which is now on the other side of Tom Sawyer Island. Just this view right here of the riverboat going around the rivers of America with a massive paddle boat and the steam that's powering it. So the reason why this Cars project has to happen is because of what's been announced and confirmed that is happening beyond Big Thunder Mountain back here, which is Villain's Land. Tom Sawyer Island, specifically this fort, has so many memories for me, specifically, and my brothers, just playing and running around and exploring all of these animatronics in here. This is not going to be like a thorough walkthrough of the fort, definitely, but I don't know. The horses over here. Let's see, can I see through this window in there? No, we can't. That was the blacksmith, and this is the guardhouse. I don't know, there needs to be more just attractions that you can just walk up and experience. I think that Tom Sawyer Island is significant because this is an environment that you immerse yourself in, that you use your own imagination to have fun. And then again, just that atmosphere. I came up a level. There's a cannon up here. Probably a couple cannons, and then some rifles. Not much of a rifle guy, but I do have a pretty decent amount of nostalgia for this roost up here where the rifles are. And it's kind of interesting that the rifles are still here, honestly, with the purge of guns at Disney. Isn't that cool? I just filmed that from the cannon. There used to be a rocking chair down there. It was a really nice place to watch Big Thunder Mountain from. It's sort of weird to think about because the Cars Land is going to have two attractions. One's going to be a thrill attraction, and then there's going to be a family attraction, allegedly. And that looks like it's going to be pretty much where the fort is right now. So I wonder if this view is still going to exist in just a different form. Like you'll still be able to see Big Thunder going by. I came over to the other rifle roost, or just the furthest rifle roost, just so I could see the beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad area over here. So this is going to be what the new Villains Land is going to be, apparently, which is going to be two attractions, which is why Cars has to happen, because there has to be a walkway to get back over to Villains Land. And I'm in the other corner rifle roost, so I can try to see what I can over here. So there needs to be connectivity over to Haunted Mansion, essentially, for this beyond Big Thunder Mountain Villains Land, which is why I think that this does have to happen. I think that Rivers of America does have to go away if they're going to be doing Villains Land, which is what I really want them to do. I don't really want them to do Cars Land, but if I want Villains Land, I think I have to accept Cars Land. We'll definitely be back to walk around Tom Sawyer Island a little bit more, try to explore and notice things that we've never noticed before, maybe play Capture the Flag and have a picnic and just really give it a proper send-off of appreciation. It's pretty cool that you can see Big Thunder Mountain right there. And just look at all of this land. So back here, this is the show building for, I guess, Haunted Mansion, and also It's a Small World. So there's not a lot of room here, but just this entire area between Thunder Mountain and the Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World ride buildings. There's a lot of space. There goes the riverboat again. I think I've seen it go by like 4 times since I've been on the island. But I'm gonna go over to the escape tunnel. I do almost have the entire fort to myself, but I do want to try to head out of here before the park closes for the party. This escape tunnel is very cramped, but it is fun. Riverboat's coming around the corner, and I do want to try to catch a raft back to the main land, because this closes in about 15 minutes, I guess, Tom Sawyer Island, and then the park closes at 6 o'clock. It's about 5:15 right now. And these look like Walt Disney's initials, right? WD. But I have made it out of the escape tunnel. And there's the riverboat coming around the corner. See, where can you get this view if it's not on this island? I don't know, dude, I'm so sad. I want to be optimistic about forward progress and utilizing new technologies to tell stories in new and exciting ways. But to lose this, I'm so frustrated and disappointed, but I'm also excited. It's so confusing. But again, I'll be back, and who knows what will or won't end up happening. And I have time to process this. I have time to really think about it and appreciate the time that I have had here. I'm gonna try to beat the riverboat over to the barrel bridge, but this moves fast. If I at least get like a year to just know that I can go to Tom Sawyer Island and really explore before it ends up closing. I've seen this barrel bridge replaced maybe like a couple times. And then there's this little walkway over here with my favorite picnic spot at the top of Tom Sawyer Island. And then Aunt Polly's, which I've eaten at before, and it was amazing. A dream come true. This is also a great place to just have a picnic over here. Brent and I come here and take pictures on Tom Sawyer Island. Really, I just want to play Capture the Flag. Or, well, hide and seek. Maybe Capture the Flag. That could be fun here too. This is Hickory Switch Hill up here. And then I want to come back and like go through the various mills, which this one hasn't run for a while, and that was sort of my unfortunate indicator that the island would probably be closing at some point, because Disney usually repairs stuff, and when they don't, that's sort of an indicator that something is happening. And then the pathway up to the playground up here, and this is the cave that came out earlier, and then the sign that I first read. And then over here, that is the Potter's Mill. This one that actually does turn. All right, but I am finally getting back onto a raft to take it back over here. So the party guests have officially mixed in with the regular day guests, so it's going to be a little bit busier now, but I think I'm heading out of the park after I maybe walk over here really quickly. So I don't disagree that it's been frustrating where Big Thunder Mountain has been a dead end, and I've always been envious of Disneyland, that connectivity of the park, which has been very, very nice. And to have a walkway that actually does connect over to Haunted Mansion and Fantasyland would be great. The geysers have also been inoperable over here for a little bit. So this is beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, back over here, which is going to be Villain's Land with 2 attractions. The concept art looks absolutely incredible. And then all of this is going to be Cars Land. And that attraction looks fantastic. It's off-road cars, and just what they've done with the rock work and the environment. There is still going to be water, and it's going to look fantastic right up next to Liberty Square and Frontierland over here. I don't really know, but I do know that Disney does what they do really well, and I have to trust that. I have to have confidence in that, and that it's going to be worth it. But I don't know, when you say goodbye to something that you really are that passionate about, it hurts and it's difficult. So again, I'm excited, but I am hesitant, I'm reserved, I'm indifferent at the moment to my feelings. But I think that I'll come around to it and be okay with it. To be honest, my adventure is still a point of contention for a lot of people, and whether or not it was actually worth it to replace Splash Mountain. And other than the operational issues, I do think that this was an improvement as far as a ride experience with the animatronics. Like, Disney did it well. I wish it was a little bit better, but I think that they did it well. I will definitely miss this boat going by. It's a little bit loud, but so will the cars. Probably, once they build that. But we're still probably several months away from any kind of like official announcement or timeline. So, I don't know. I'll just enjoy it while I can. Also plenty of time to watch the fireworks from over here, because when you watch from the bridge over here, you can have a really nice view of the fireworks going off of Cinderella Castle. From what I can tell, this building is still here from the concept art, so that'll be weird to walk through this into like the new cars area. I also do wish that more people did give Tom Sawyer Island the time of day, because that was like a lot of the discourse of people accusing other people of, well, how often did you actually go to Tom Sawyer Island, which I don't want to be accusatory to that, but the amount of people that I have known that sort of almost brag about either having never gone to Tom Sawyer Island or gone there once every 10 to 15 to 20 years, I don't know, I always thought it deserved more than that. It's such like a peaceful place to go to get away from all of this, just to go over here for like an hour to just like relax a little bit, walk around, explore this island and the riverboat. They were always just tranquility to me, and they were dependable sources of entertainment as attractions that you could always experience without having to worry about fast passes or lightning lanes or the park capacity or crowd projections. I'm also curious about what this is going to look like, just walking through Liberty Square and then just seeing cars right there. I'm sure that Disney's going to do it probably fine. I do need to go ahead and head out of the park though, because the park is closing soon, and this is probably a pretty long video, but I wanted to actually come to the parks and just see what is coming from D23 and just really think about it. I've also enjoyed using my new camera today, so that'll be fun to like go back and see what this ends up looking like, and then the stabilization versus the not stabilization, but having a little bit more of like a wide angle. Their opinions to move the riverboat over to like Port Orleans, which I can agree with that, but if they took Tom Sawyer Island and moved that over to like Fort Wilderness, it's very weird to be so emotionally conflicted over this, where I want to tell myself, just get over it, it's going to be fine, but then I also want to be like, I don't want to. Okay, I'm getting in line for the express monorail to take this back to the parking lots. Alright, I made it off of the monorail. It's about 6 o'clock right now. So I've been at the parks for like 8 hours, maybe a little bit more. Alrighty, getting onto the monorail now, or the tram, whatever this is, to get back to the car. I made it back to my car, and I am exhausted, but I'm really glad that I came to all of the parks that I did today, to Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Magic Kingdom, really just to see what was announced and really try to process it like in person, just visibly see what I was looking at, what was proposed, what was officially announced, what is going to be inevitably happening, and either get excited about it or, I don't know, try to convince myself that it's going to be all right and Disney knows what they're doing, which I know that they do. So thank you for coming with me today to the parks. This was probably a long video. It was a long day for me. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.